Welcome, 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 and thank you for joining us on another episode of today's Electrical Estimating. I'm your co-host, Chris Traumer, and as always, I'm joined by our other co-host, Sal Huerta.
Hello, everyone.
All right, Sal. So we're starting out with a conversation we had with maybe a month or two ago. And I'm going to be honest, this was eye-opening for me because, as you know, the estimating space isn't my wheelhouse. This isn't what I've been working in for the last 10 years at Electric Smarts. I work predominantly on our marketing side of things. So this is all new, like a learning experience, like somebody on the outside looking in. I'm learning a lot, but talking with Mark, it sort of opened up my eyes because in the beginning, you always think, okay, there's an estimator. He gets the plans, he throws them together. Lowest price wins. I mean, that's what you usually think of. Whoever comes in the lowest, that's who the GC is going to pick. That's who they're going to go with. Now, I've learned over time from our conversations with other contractors, that's not the case. But, originally that's what you think, because I guess that's sort of the American way. But it was a little surprising when we talk with him about the details and personnel that actually come into play when creating an estimate for a project and trying to win that bid.
You see, this is what's been great about these podcasts that we've been able to educate our audience on, because I agree with you 100%. People sometimes think that the estimator gets a job and then that's it. They don't realize the team aspect that goes into all of this. There has to be a larger group that's a part of all this job to make it all work. We talked a little bit earlier, but I mentioned that we just had the Super Bowl, and every team that ever makes a Super Bowl, it's because you have your offense, your defense, your special teams, and your coaching all click together, and that's what allows them to get to the big game. The same way when it comes to these kinds of jobs, it's not just one group that manages it all. Every other group has to be a part of this to make the job work seamlessly, and of course also to give them opportunity to get the job.
In the beginning, I always thought of it as I mentioned before, the bid comes in, the estimator puts all his numbers in, puts it together, sends it back out. But, and then if they get it, it goes over to a project manager and procurement person and so on and so forth. It follows the steps. But from our conversation here, literally their whole team is involved from the get-go. And they're looking at these specs. And it's not that you're just looking at the standard specs and going, okay, this is what they put together and this is what we're going to build off of. It seems like they're actually going forwards with their own engineers and their own teams and saying, well, the specs call for this, but in reality, we could be doing this. And then turning around and going to, the GC or the company or whoever it is, even before they have the project, hey, we found that you could actually do this a lot faster, more efficient, and save yourself a lot of money if you did it this way. And they don't even have the project yet.
Well, again, you could see how the value to the company, again, the contracting company, would be that everyone's on board. Everyone knows the job, sees the job, knows what their part is, and then collectively as a overall job, like you said, they could probably do things that would make things quicker, faster, easier for them. But like you also mentioned, going to the general contractor and telling them, okay, here's the job, and we were able to change a little bit to make it more beneficial for you. That just adds to that relationship part that we've talked about in past podcasts that allows that contractor to build a relationship closer with that general contractor.
Yeah, it's funny because living in America, it's always the feeling that nothing comes for free. There's always some kind of strings attached with it. So for him to go forwards and be like, listen, we found this, we haven't won the project yet, but this can be so much more beneficial for you in the long run. It just blows my mind because you think that would be some kind of ace they would hold in their back pocket and put it into the estimate and then come out and do it their own because they don't want to show the world their cards. But it seems like from his conversation and from what you were just saying with relationships, that's a big thing because they're walking into this not only saying, well, here's our numbers, this is our history, this is our experience, this is our PM, so on and so forth. But hey, we took a look at this, and if you do X, Y, Z, you're going to be saving yourself, tens of thousands of dollars, and that's probably an over extravaganza, but you could be saving a lot of money, a lot of time. And it'll come up more clean, more efficient for you. Please consider us. So definitely a twist on what you grow up thinking, I guess.
And you can also imagine that, say for whatever reason, that electrical contractor doesn't get the job, but another job comes up in that general contractor's mind, guess who's going to pop up number one for them, or in the top group the next time a job comes up? So yes, that relationship part that they're building, you want to get the job, but if it doesn't come up this particular time for whatever reason, now you've actually moved yourself up higher, and people's trust value in you becomes higher.
All right. So, well, I think it's time. Let's let these people jump into this conversation and we'll go from there. Always good talking to you.
All right, buddy.
I was wondering, would you be able to sort of outline a few actionable methods that you guys take to ensure that your bids are consistently coming out on top in the competitive landscape that we find ourselves in? I know you mentioned a few to us before,
Mhm.
uh, but if you don't mind recapping, some of the methods you guys put into place to sort of try to bring your success level up a little bit over time.
Sure. Being the low bidder is not always our measure of success. But to your point, first thing we do is we provide a complete and competitive estimate. So being the ridiculously high number, no one wants to talk to you after that. We have our guys and the people in the process ask good questions. Make sure the client understands that you're engaged in the job. Right? Help the client identify and repair deficiencies in their documents. Pointing out to them their risks are all very helpful in getting you to the point where you're talking to the right people going forward. So we present a strong team. Not only my estimating guys, I've had people say to me in meetings that, geez, I can't believe these two guys that you have with you know the job that well. So from the estimating side, that's a sales pitch. And then the next step is showing off my engineering team and showing off our project management group and our executives. So presenting a strong team is a huge plus. And then the final thing is offering innovative solutions. We show them how they can save money, show them how to do things differently, point out things in the design that are actually costing them more than they need to cost. And if you can get in the room with the owner and the engineer and work through these things, you actually end up showing them how to save money. So I believe that helps you close work.
So it seems like it's a lot of relationships on top of not only having the skills to be able to do what needs to be done on your side, but a lot of relationships, bringing team members to the meetings, taking the time to have them educate themselves beforehand, taking the steps to actually talk to your clients to tell them, hey, look at this is what we can bring to the table, but also, hey, this is what we're seeing beforehand that could actually help you out. Is that the case?
That's 100% true. I mean, we're working with, I think, 16 autonomous divisions right now. Every one of them is its own profit center. So in order for us to estimate a job, the division manager has to look at it and say, yep, that's something I want to chase. And they'll provide us with an advocate, one of their execs or PMs will be involved in the whole estimating process. So that's our way of making sure we dig into the job and understand it from top to bottom.
Got it. So you'll have not only your people from your estimating team, but bringing in project managers and, as you said, advocates from all these different groups that are going to be working on it from the beginning to sort of have this full team that can then move forwards with not only numbers, but relationship and advice as well.
That correct. I mean, as I mentioned, within the 16 groups, they all have perhaps one or two estimators. But
Mhm.
when they get a job that's very large, they'll come to us in the estimating division and say, we need your support. So we'll
Got it.
work directly with the division manager and whoever they've chosen to monitor the job to put the estimate together for them.